Hello and welcome to the Addydae Designs video blog, a crochet and sometimes knitting podcast. I'm Deanne, your host, and I'm coming to you as always from Canberra, Australia. How are you all? Are you well? I am, although I'm a little bit tired. We have been crazy busy over the last week or so. It's the middle of the school holidays here in Canberra, and we've had visitors from interstate. My sister and her kids and my mum came to visit. And while they were here, it was a whirlwind of activity. We did not stop the whole time. Had an absolute ball taking the kids different places. We even went up to Selwyn snowfields for the day, took the kids tobogganing, and we just all had a blast together. It was a lot of fun. So it's very quiet now after having 9 people in the house all together here for a few days. That's a lot of people in an average size house. So yeah, it was all happening here, so it's really quiet now. I miss them, but yeah, we had great fun. So I believe pretty much everywhere just about is on school holidays at the moment, whether it's the summer break in the northern hemisphere or the winter ones down here. Everyone seems to be on holidays, so I hope you are enjoying yours if that's what you're doing at the moment. So episode 20, did I say that? Can you believe it? I actually went this morning and rewatched episode 1. I'm so sorry. If you go back and watch episode 1, yeah. My poor little laptop camera just didn't cut it. Anyway, like I said back then, that was an experiment, and I've come back another 19 times after that. Who would have thought? And a few of you have hung around. In fact, I was looking this morning and I've noticed there are a bunch of new subscribers. Thank you. I'm so glad to see that a lot of you are enjoying it, or at least I hope you're enjoying it. I'm guessing if you're subscribing, that means you are, so you know, happy days. Thanks so much for stopping by and listening to me chat about my designing and yarn and all things yarn related. Yeah, yarn and a bit more yarn. So how about I have a yarn and tell you what I've been up to lately? We will start with FOs. Now I have to apologise yet again. I have an FO that I don't have here to show you because it had to go away with One Tree Hill Alpacas. I finished my alpaca Blurre. It was beautiful to work on. I enjoyed every single stitch working with 100% alpaca. If you haven't had the opportunity of trying Angela's yarns, check out the link. I'll put links below and you'll be able to find her there. And I believe they're the featured indie dyer at Skein Sisters in Sydney for the month of July. So if you're in Sydney and anywhere nearby, I highly recommend you check them out there. I'll be very jealous because I've wanted to go to Skein Sisters ever since it opened. It looks fabulous. Hopefully I'll get up there soon. So yeah, I haven't got it to show you, but I will insert a picture for you here. So there you go, there's my alpaca Blurre. Beautiful. And didn't Angela's colours work up nicely? And the other FO, while we're talking FOs, I have another which I'm wearing, as you can see. This is my, well, it's not a release design yet. It is a design of mine. It will be written up shortly. I've got notes written down for it, but it's not quite ready to release just yet. But as you know, I've been having a bit of a thing for crochet brioche, or brioche as I like to call it. And I put together this cowl, which I'm going to call the 90 degrees cowl because it matches my 90 degrees hat. The reason I call it 90 degrees, as you can see on the outside, the lines go this way. On the inside, they're at a 90-degree angle. I may not have needed to point out the obvious, but there you go. That's where the name comes from. This one is not even blocked yet. I have been wearing it the entire weekend since I finished it. I've been wearing it a lot, and so yeah, haven't had a chance to block it. So the curling you see here will block out because I didn't bring it close enough. The larger one I had that I've already blocked out, that was an earlier prototype. the curling blocked out completely, which is good. But I actually like it curling because it shows the difference on the inside. Difference. I finally got that out, didn't I? So yeah. So I don't mind that it curls, but if you don't like that look, yeah, it blocks out beautifully, and I guess you've got a reversible cowl depending on which way you want the stripes to show. So there you go. My 90 degrees cowl, which I absolutely love. This one's made using Dingo Dyeworks Ridgy Didge. Now let's see if I can remember the colours. The lighter pink is the Dirhambandi colourway, and the grey I think was called Narrabri. I know Dirhambandi pops up every now and again in Peter's shop updates. I don't know if Narrabri was a repeatable colourway, but it was a beautiful grey with pops of all sorts of colour thrown in with it, so they worked really well together. Don't you think? I think so. So really happy with how that turned out, and it's really nice and warm. And what I love about it is you don't have to worry about it. You chuck it on and that's it. It's not going to fall off. You don't have to rearrange it like you do a shawl, and I love shawls, you know that, but it is so nice just to throw this on and forget about it. So very, very happy with how that turned out, and hopefully I will have the pattern for you soon. So they're my only two FOs. That's all I've got for you, which is a bit sad. But anyway, like I said, been busy with relatives and all sorts of things happening. And I actually, would you believe, this is not the first time I've tried to record this podcast. I tried to record it last week. I was trying to be so organised and try and do the fortnightly thing, and I recorded it, but the light was so bad. We had so many really dreary days here in Canberra, and I couldn't get, the lighting just looked wrong, and it was either too dark, and then when I turned lights on, it washed everything out, and it just wasn't good. So this is take two. And I still don't have much more to show you. Well, I do. I've worked on a few things, so there's a bit more progress on my whips. So how about I go on to whips now for you? Seeing that we're talking brioche, and I've been completely just in love with working it up, I'll show you this whip, which I know almost looks identical, and in fact it does start off the same, but this one is going to be more of a bandana shape. So it's going to have shaping in the front so that it dips down like a bandana. So I'm not sure. Oh, see, the curling is making it a little hard to show you, but just here you can see that I've started some increases. So yeah, not much to show you. I do apologise. I just love looking at these colourways. Sorry if I look like I stalled there for a second. But don't these colours look beautiful? These are Dingo Dyeworks colours as well. The green is Salt Lake, and that's Ridgy Didge, which is the same base as these ones. And then the one with it, it's sticking, is this fabulous colourway. I don't want it to be overexposed, but look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It is, I'm pretty sure, because I don't have the tag, I'm pretty sure this is Marjorie, and as you can see, it's a single ply. This is the Jumbuck base from from Dingo Dyeworks, and it is divine. Oh my goodness, get your hands on it. It is so soft. So they're the two colours together. They actually look like they contrast much more there than they do when you see them work together. Not a high contrast between these two colours, but still enough. And yeah, so that I'm having a lot of fun working up. I love how it's feeling. It's got that squishy double thickness that I believe knitted brioche has. Like I said, I've never done knitted brioche, but that's what inspired this, and I am loving it. That's why it's so warm. But yeah, So what do you think of that? Pretty good? That was a question, by the way. So yeah, I'll work a bit more on that. I hope to have it finished soon, and some of that increased detailing might become a bit more apparent once there's more of it worked up. So that's going, and this one's going to be my Brioche bandana cowl. So happy with how that's turning out too, and loving the Dingo Dyeworks yarn as always. I have also been working on the girls' blankets. Now I haven't shown you these for a little while. They sort of got pushed aside because I had to do the alpaca shawl for Angela, so it was ready to go on the display for her. So yeah, I had a few things with deadlines that I had to work on, so this kind of got pushed to the background. So I dug them out over the weekend because it's been cold. There you go, there's your weather update. Yes, in fact, it has been cold. These were actually just wonderful to work on because they're getting bigger, and I had lots to keep me warm. So you can see I put a stitch marker in. That's where I was up to last time I showed this to you. So I've almost doubled the length of this. So yeah, like I said, it's single bed width. It's probably going to kill me to finish these, but anyway, that's what I have done so far. So the colours are looking pretty good together. I'm happy. The girls are really happy with them, which is the main thing. You know, I'm making 2 of them. I won't show you the other one. It's virtually identical. It's just that the colours are done in a slightly different order, just so they're not exactly the same. But yeah, the other one is the same size. So I've doubled almost doubled the length of the other one as well, because I add a stripe to one and then I add one to the other one. So they're both growing at the same time. Because being sorry, that was my laptop. Being a project as big as a single blanket one is, I fear that if I don't work them at the same time, by the time I finish one, I'm not going to want to go back to the second one. So I'm working on them at the same time. Yeah, but happy with the colours. I've got to calculate, actually, I need to go through how much yarn I have and work out how many stripes I'm getting for each ball of yarn, so I know, you know, how much is left of this colour. Therefore, you know, I might have enough to do 10 more stripes, so 5 each blanket, of course. I think I need to do that so that I don't wind up with just, you know, a quarter of the blanket to go and only 2 colours left. But I'm not really worried because I can get most of them, well, at least half of these colours I can reorder from Bendigo Woolen Mills, because that's where most of this yarn came from. So I'm not really worried. And they're not blankets that are going to be made to be on top of the bed. It'll be a layering blanket for warmth, which is what blankets are for, I know. But it won't be a display piece. So I'm not really worried, although the OCD in me says I probably will be worried the closer I get to the end if it's not looking like it'll work out. But anyway, we'll work that out as I get closer to the end, which you can very clearly see I am not at the moment. But like I said, it was really nice to work on this with it on my lap as I was going. So perfect winter project. It'll probably won't be finished for the girls to use this winter, but it will be delightful to work on during the winter. So that is that whip. I have another whip too. I think I only talked about this before. I think it was a dream project or planned project. I don't know what I called them. Anyway, this is the skirt I said I was going to make for, well, it's the beginnings of the skirt I am making for Imogen, my Collide design. So one of my designs. As you can see, well, maybe not. Well, I'll explain. It's worked. That's the length of the skirt, and so you're working around the body. So what you do is you choose which length you want first, and then you work till you have the correct waist measurement. And the other great thing about crochet worked this way is that there's a lot of stretch vertically in crochet, but not so much horizontally. Yeah, that's right. So this skirt's not going to lose a lot of its shape lengthwise, even though it will be quite heavy and warm. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. But it's nice and stretchy around the body, which makes it nice and comfortable and gives it that nice fit. Not that a 10-year-old girl has lots of curves to accommodate, but there is an adult version of this skirt that I designed as well. And yeah, it's nice if it hugs the curves in all the right places. And you know what? I'm having a complete blonde moment and I cannot remember the name of the adult version. That's terrible. This is Collide, and that is, it's gone. I will put it down here for you in case you're interested. I was actually, when I made a version for myself, I was actually pleasantly surprised at how nicely it fits in the right places. Does that make sense? It's hard when you're making a large garment, especially to fit ladies' hips. I'm sure you ladies watching would agree. But yeah, it seemed to be quite flattering. And when the testers sent me their photos, a lot of them commented that they were quite happy with the fit. So I'm thinking it's a lot to do with the nice stretch that crochet gives vertically. And yeah, so anyway, this is Imogen's. That's how much I've done. That's exactly one ball of the I don't have the rest of it. What was it? Mosaic Moon. And it's beautiful. And it's playing very, very well at the moment. I have not alternated skeins. I know, that's probably really, really bad of me. But look, it didn't pull. It behaved so well. I just didn't want to mess with it. Only time will tell how close the other skeins are to this one. I may or may not need to alternate as I continue, but because they're only short rows, like these are just single crochet or UK double crochets, it will be really easy to carry the yarn either along the bottom edge or indeed along the top edge. Probably wouldn't do the top edge because you want a lot of stretch in that for the waistband, so I'd probably carry it along the bottom, and any floats or where you've carried it will be hidden by the edging that is added once the skirt is sewn along the side seam. So yeah, very, very happy with that, and Imogen loves it, which again is very good. If any of you have 10-year-old girls, you may be experiencing the same level of fussiness, especially when it comes to clothes. So I certainly did not want to finish an entire skirt only to find that she didn't like it. So really, really happy that she does. So I will keep working on that. Now this may be a project I can actually get finished before the weather warms up again. So I'll be working furiously on that over the next little while to try and get it done. And in fact, that didn't take me that long. I only started that a couple of days ago. So it's working up fast. It's DK weight, so I think because I've been working with so much fingering weight yarn, I forgot how quickly the heavier weights work up. Like with the blankets, I was really surprised when I saw how much I'd actually progressed since the last time I showed you. It was like, wow, I'm so fast. It just works up faster. So yeah, they are my only whips to share with you this episode. I hope you liked those. Everything else looks the same as it did last time, so I won't bore you by showing you again. I have had a bit of a play with a sock design. Yes, my own sock design. I've been watching some other podcasts, and I've come across some great crochet-based podcasts. So I will mention them now before I forget. Crochet Luna podcast, Claudia from Crochet Luna, fab podcast, and Rosina from the Zines and Roger podcast. Love Rosina, she cracks me up every time. She's seriously funny. Yeah, are a couple of newer podcasters and crochet-based ones, so you may want to check them out if you haven't come across them already. But, oh, and the other one, that's right, Lottie and Albert. Oh, and I've forgotten. I'm so sorry, I've forgotten her name, the host. That's terribly rude of me. I'm sorry. Love your podcast. But yes, check that out too, Lottie and Albert. But the reason I mentioned them was because on both Crochet Luna and Lottie and Albert podcasts, they've been talking about crocheted socks. And to my shame, as a crochet designer, I've never made crocheted socks. I know, don't hate me. I did attempt, when I say attempt, I started making one, but I didn't like the fabric I was getting. And the pattern I was following, you needed a very small crochet hook with thick, well, not thick yarn, but for the yarn that was required, the hook that you needed to use was very, very small in comparison to what I would normally use. And I didn't like that. It was frustrating me to have to do the stitches so tightly. And I gave up. And then I tried knitting socks, as you know, and let's say I was happier more quickly with the knitted socks I was making. I still haven't stumbled across my ideal sock recipe yet with knitting. I like my socks quite firm, and I know handmade socks are not going to have that same snug fit as commercially made socks. I understand that there is a different feel, but I'm just finding that even the handmade socks that I'm quite happy with, after I've worn them for a few minutes, they're really loose, and is that how they're always meant to be? Can anyone tell me, anyone here, a seasoned sock knitter? So I'm still working on my ideal sock recipe with the knitting needles, but I thought, now hang on, I've completely derailed my train of thought. Yes, Crochet Luna podcast and Lottie and Albert podcast, they've both been talking about crocheted sock patterns. Both had a bit of a special thing. That's why I talked about socks. So I thought, you know what, I really need to crochet a pair of socks. But do I decide to follow someone else's pattern? No. I know, I decided to play around with my own design. Yeah. Idiot. I should really, do you think maybe I should follow someone who knows what they're talking about when it comes to crocheted socks? Possibly. Anyway, I've been having a bit of fun playing with an idea, and I may or may not show you how that went. It's been fun anyway. The one thing I do like, and I don't have it here to show you because it is unfinished, is the way I did it. No, I'm going to cut that out because I can't show you and it's not going to make any sense whatsoever. Stay tuned. I hopefully will have something to show you and explain what I'm talking about next time. Aren't you glad I'm such a professional after 20 episodes? Moving on. I have oh, you know what I should mention right now? Here we go, so professional. The Blurre cowl has finally finished. Thank you so much to everybody that joined in. Oh my goodness, you guys. I have just been completely blown away by the beautiful Blurre shawls that have been made in the cowl. Thank you so much for joining in and sharing your photos and your plans and what colours you were thinking of putting together. I have loved every single post that you've put in the thread and the pictures that you've posted there and on Instagram as well. Love, love, love them all. It's going to be really hard to choose a winner. The winner gets this little prize pack. So it's 2 full skeins, well, 1 full colour and then 2 half skeins of yarn. I've got a little stitch marker there, which I got from Knitty by Nature shop on Etsy. Gorgeous little sheep, and a project bag made by my sister, which again is, the colour's not showing up right at all. It's a much more fun looking fabric than it's showing up there, but that is the prize pack. I will probably, by the time this airs, announce the winner on the Ravelry thread. So pop over there. Even if you aren't one of the participants, please pop over and have a look at some of the beautiful blurs that have been put together. You guys have made my day, seriously. And so many of you have made such lovely comments about the shawl and how much you're enjoying it. In fact, Rosina from the Zines and Roger podcast, she has a blog as well, and like not video, just a typed blog. And she did a blog post about the Blurre shawl, and it brought me, I got a bit teary, Rosina. Wow, you did such a nice spread on it. Thank you so much. I'm just so happy that you're enjoying it. People are using up their special skeins in the Blurre shawl and having a lot of fun with the colours. That just, as a designer, that makes my day. And I've even had a lot of people who did a lot like, who did what I did with my scrappy one, modify the number of rows to accommodate different yarn amounts as well. I love that. That is fabulous that you feel confident enough and comfortable enough with my instructions to do that kind of thing. So yay. I have obviously do not have the right words. You've made my day. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to get out. Thank you so much. I hope to see many more and that you enjoy it, and yeah, have fun with all those colours, because I know, like I said, I want to make all the colours. I've made 4 already. Have I made 4? My sample, 1 fruit. I've completed 4, and I have another one going at the moment that I haven't finished yet. So yeah, can have so much fun with the colours. Actually, speaking of colours, just this morning I watched a new video on Stephen West's YouTube channel, and he's having a fade along where you can make any Stephen West pattern, garment, shawl, whatever, any of his designs at all apparently, but with the thought that you will fade your colours from one to another. And he shows some samples and talks about how to work the colours together, and what just gives you some ideas. And it was just awesome. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the yarn craft industry that puts together colours quite like Stephen West. He's very bold, and his stuff is amazing. But not all of his is like fluoros. You know, it was so funny. He talked about fluoro being a neutral. I love that. Fluoro is a neutral. Goes with everything. But he showed a couple too that were very understated. So you don't have to be using the fluoros to make it work as a fade with his designs. You can certainly go with some of the muted, more neutral colorways. And yeah, anyway, that was really fun. And now I can't remember why I brought that up. Oh yeah, Blurre. Dear, oh dear, I'm very blonde today. Yeah, so have fun with colour and have a look at his podcast. Well, not a podcast, but his video, his YouTube channel, for some colour inspiration. If you're thinking maybe of another Blurre and not sure how to go about it, check it out. It was really good. It was like, oh, yes, of course you can put those colours together. And why not? Have some fun. So yeah, that was that I found this morning. Oh dear. Moving on again. I have made a couple of acquisitions since I spoke to you last. One of them is this one. Not the normal acquisition you were expecting, is it? I do on occasion buy some books. I had heard about this magazine from some other podcasters, and I've never bought it before, so it was new to me. It's a beautiful magazine. I got this in my local yarn store. I know you can get it from different online yarn stores too. Excuse me, something's itching my eye. Sorry about that. It's a beautiful magazine. The designs are spectacular. I mean, like the cover design, this one. So this is a special edition because it's their 5th anniversary edition. And it is just lovely. Like, there are some absolutely beautiful things in there. But, now, this but is not a reflection on the quality of the magazine at all. Like I said, it's beautiful. The paper stock is lovely. It's a great size for putting in your handbag. The designs are stunning. The whole entire magazine is stunning. But there's no crochet. Now, okay, that shouldn't always be a surprise, but it does say crochet here. And there's none. Not one crochet pattern. Anyway, I actually went through it twice. I did look twice for the crochet content because I thought I must have missed it. But no. So if you don't knit, unless you just want to look at the pretty things, but if you're looking for a pattern to make and you don't knit, then this is not the edition for you. I don't know. Just thought I'd let you know. This is just an FYI. This is not a complaint, it's an FYI, but still a lovely magazine. So there you go. I did enjoy looking. I mean, who doesn't love looking at gorgeous knitwear? I mean, I knit. I can appreciate the design and everything like that, even if I don't intend to make many or of them. But that's okay. Thought I'd let you know. So moving on to a couple of other acquisitions. Now I had to show you these just after watching Stephen West this morning, and he was talking about, now I'm going to quote him correctly. He was talking about it's a bit of a tongue twister, speckled specimens of lustrous fibre artistry. And I think I have a couple of those speckled specimens right here. Aren't these lovely? I actually got these a little while ago and I hadn't shown you yet. These are from my friend Peter at Dingo Dyeworks in one of her updates a while ago. Now, I apologise if you race to her website and cannot find these colourways there anymore, because like I said, this is from an update a few weeks ago. This is Della, and Della is just gorgeous. Look at that. Look at those peaches. And this is Estelle. Now these are on the jumbuck base. Oh, excuse my awful band-aid. I cut myself this morning on a tin. It's very tragic, I know. Anyway, I'll just hide my horrible band-aid. I probably didn't need to point that out to you, did I? No. Moving back to the glorious jumbuck yarn. This is Estelle. And I just love, I mean, look at them together. Seriously. Gorgeous. But one of the reasons I wanted to show you today was because I want to show you how different they can look when you wind them up. So, only because I was surprised and not disappointed, but I expected more dark. I don't know, maybe because the dark bits, when it's still in the skein, are quite dominant. I expected it to wind up a lot darker, but there you go. So, you know, sometimes when you have chosen yarn for a project and you've chosen it and it's still in the skein, sometimes it can still surprise you. So, yeah, I just thought I'd show you because I found it really interesting, which you may not be able to pick up on how different that is, but I was surprised by how different it looked. And this one too. Because it all blends, the darker parts, when they're all together on the skein, are no longer together. So it doesn't, the value, Peter talks about value a lot on her podcast. So if you want to learn a bit about colour and how to combine colours and things like that. I highly recommend jumping over and checking out the Dingo Dyeworks podcast, because Peter, the creator behind these colorways, she knows what she's talking about, and she talks about color value and how, yeah, if you don't have some light and some dark, if they're all sort of the same value or depth of color, from a distance it will look a lot the same. It's only when you get closer that you can distinguish, and I guess that's what's happening here, because the darker colors are broken up and interspersed more evenly. It's lost a bit of the differences in value when it's all wound up together in the skein. So I found it interesting. I hope you did too. In any case, look how gorgeous it is. If you got nothing else out of that except, wow, pretty colours, then yeah, happy days. I thought they were great. So yeah, Della and Estelle may not be available on the website, but I know Peter is putting up new colours on the jumbuck base all the time. I don't know if these are repeatable colours. Sorry. But yeah, go have a look. There are always new and beautiful things on the Dingo Dyeworks website worth looking at. Hide your credit cards, people. No, always beautiful stuff. You won't be disappointed. So they're my new things. Oh no, I have one more, and it's sitting right here. I got a new project bag. Now, it's not going to look like much just yet, but, all right, hang on. It's empty, so let me just, here it is, all right, which this may look a little odd. So it's a good, that's 2 skeins I've just dropped in it now, okay? It's from Travelling Alice, and I did have her card here, and now I've misplaced it. Travelling Alice on Etsy. Sarah prints the fabrics herself. She actually carves the, I'm going to say, stamps to do these. I didn't know that till I saw it on her Instagram feed. She was showing her, I don't know what she makes them out of, but she carves them. I'm going to say sponge, but it's probably not sponge. Whatever you make stamps out of, rubber, I'm not sure. Ask Sarah. And stamps the fabric herself. How cool is that? But this is a roll top bag. So this one, you roll the top down, then you bring the strap over and feed it through the rings here, which I'm going to do really awkwardly one-handed. We need some elevator music while I'm doing this, don't we? And you can secure it like that. How cool is that? I loved this when I saw it. And the other thing is, it's waterproof inside. Now that may sound a bit odd when I'm talking about something to keep yarn in. However, I'm sure, like me, you have all seen pictures on Instagram, yarn, project, coffee, wine. We all know what might happen. So, waterproof. I thought that was fabulous. And they also double as, you know, cosmetic bags and things like that. And the other good thing is no zipper. So there's nothing to snag your yarn. How cool is that? Anyway, love it. Love it. And the canvas bottom is awesome. It's nice and sturdy. I'll say sturdy. But I mean that in the nicest way. Usually when you say sturdy about something, it's not exactly complimentary, is it? But in this case, it is. I think it will wear really well. And I love it. Thank you, Sarah. It's beautiful. So that is pretty much all I have to show you. Like I said, or did I say? I can't remember now because I've recorded this before, so I don't know if I'm repeating myself in this episode or if I mentioned it last time I recorded. Anyway, we're headed to Bendigo at the end of the week. I know, the Australian Wool and Sheep Show starts on Friday this week. I am so excited. We'll be heading down there shortly. Well, shortly, in a few days. So if you see me, please come and say hello. I would love to meet you. Don't be shy. I'm a little bit shy. You might not realise that, but I am. So, you know, I'm not scary, I promise. Come say hello. And I'll be handing out, I've got my business cards, and I'll be handing them out, and they'll have codes on the back for discounts. So you might snag one with a 30% discount, you might snag one with a 50% discount, or you might score one that gives you 100% off any pattern purchase from my Ravelry store. So definitely come and say hi, grab a card and get a discount. And for those of you that can't make it to Bendigo, I will be announcing a special for the time frame of the show on purchases made from my Ravelry store. So you don't get to miss out entirely. Still got a discount for you guys who can't make it. But yeah, come and say hi. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I will be at the Dingo Dyeworks meetup at the Shawl studio on Friday evening from 5 till 8 p.m. All the details for that you can get on the Dingo Dyeworks Ravelry group. Peter has all the details there about where the Shawl studio is and stuff like that. So I'm going to be there. Can't wait to meet up with Peter again. I met her last year at the show. That was the first time we met, and we've been, as you know, working together ever since. So it was a very, very fun, what am I going to say? I'm very, really, really happy that we met. That's what I'm trying to get out. So I'm looking forward to seeing her again there. Yep, come and say hi. Now, there was something else I was going to tell you. I don't know. I'm going to be at the show Friday and Saturday. Yeah, there's so much to see. I can't wait. And I'm hoping to record some video footage of Bendigo. A lot of people call it Spendigo, which is appropriate, but it sounds a little negative. I'd prefer to call it Splendigo. Let's call it Splendigo. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And if you're toying with the idea of going, but haven't, you should. It's really good fun. The kids loved it too. Darren even said to me yesterday he's looking forward to it. I know, he's a keeper. I mean, they're not going to be at the show the entire time. He's got some fun things planned for him and the girls when I'm at the show by myself. But it's a lovely town to visit, and if you're into yarn craft, it's well worth the trip. Trust me. So really looking forward to that and meeting up with some people that I met last year. It's my laptop again. And yeah, just looking at all the yarny goodness, let's face it. That's what we're there for. So that'll be really fun. That's about it. Yeah, that's all I have to tell you. I better finish now before I start waffling. I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're enjoying your crafting time. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again after Bendigo. Okay, have fun everybody. Bye-bye.